Okay, I got a hobo. No, he's not a hobo. Nobody wants to be a hobo, but I want to be a hobo because a hobo technically is a person that looked for a job to travel. That's not true. They traveled from place to place looking for a job. They're transient workers. It's not a bum. They just got behind the 8 ball and they took a train. A bum is a person that won't work, and a tramp is a person that travels but won't work either. So I'm neither a tramp or a bum. I actually would travel from place to place to work. But most people think of it just sort of one level, which is Don R. is teaching English viable to make money in Thailand, Asia, or Eastern Europe. Have you done this? Teaching English as an American, well, I guess I've seen Switzerland people do it, I've seen German people do it. Anybody from Europe or America that speaks English really well can make money teaching English. You don't even have to be a native speaker. It's probably one of the most common ways for people to make money, kind of like a traveler. But the minute that you get a job teaching English, you're not traveling, right? So it's not, you know, if you dream of going from place to place to place, then it's not a very good idea. If you want to go live in Korea, teaching English is a great way to live in Korea. If you want to live in Japan, I think Japan and Japan, maybe a little bit in the Philippines, and Korea are your big place. But the big money's in Korea and Japan. Everywhere, Thailand, I haven't seen that many people learning English. It's not like whatever. But I think in China, there's people that want to learn English. Because most of the time they want to learn English so that they can do business. Everybody wants to learn English because they think if they learn English, they can make more money. It's like but the big place is Korea, and it's really easy to get a job, but sometimes you need this TOEFL, teaching English as a foreign language thing, and they have a lot of that in Prague, Czech Republic, and all these places. I don't forget Prague. I'm trying real hard to get Gregory Hubbs from Transitions Abroad. That he has a lot of advertisers that are advertising for TOEFL schools. I mean, there's a lot of money. There's probably a lot more money to be made in having the school that says how to teach English as a foreign language as it is to actually teach the language. But a lot of people, as far as I know, for Korea and Japan, it really helps if you have a college education. The bad part is they'll make you sign a year contract. They have a thing called the midnight run in Korea. The midnight run is when you get on the plane and leave the country and leave the contract because you just can't take it anymore. And this is the caveat of teaching English. It's a job. And I taught English in Peru, and the teacher, we were teaching male executives from this copper mine, and I was laughing. I put an advertisement in my newsletter for people, and somebody read it, and they came and applied for a job, and she got a job, and the next thing I know, my hours are cut because the teacher didn't really care that he basically just gave as many hours as he wanted to anybody, and this girl was getting all the hours because the male executives liked having a female teacher. They didn't really like having a male teacher, and they didn't really want to learn English. They just, the mine paid for it, whatever. Teaching English is a job, okay? And the only requirement is that you're a native speaker from America or Britain. I watched a Scottish guy teaching English. I could not even understand a word he said. I was in Colombia, and he was teaching English. And I think they just wanted to have the sign on the top of the thing in Bogota, Colombia, British teacher. The guy's English was so bad I couldn't even understand it. Thailand, you can do it. A friend of mine, Steve, was teaching at a school. He was living in a $40 a month apartment in Bangkok, and you can get apartments in downtown Bangkok for $50, $80, $100 a month. Pretty nice. and he was teaching at a school. He did that for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. This isn't just get on the internet, click, and do it. You need to really, what you need to do to really have maybe the job you really enjoy and not just sign up for a pig in the poke is to go there, sit around for a month, and talk with people that are doing it, then make the choice. I do know that the ones that have the best chance are going to have a college degree and prove that they have a college degree. And the ones that teaching English as a foreign language have taken this class is probably going to do better, but it's like $1,000, right? I don't know if I would do that. I think Central and South America you don't need the TOEFL thing. I think only in Korea and Japan. But you got to understand, when you're in Korea, oh, it's horrible. I mean, there's nobody to talk to. I mean, they actually, in Korea, on the subway, you take your cell phone out, and you want to talk to the taxi. You say, I want to go here. You talk to somebody in English, then you hand the cell phone to the taxi driver and tell them. They have a system, because it's so difficult to communicate with the Korean people, that you actually call up somebody, talk with them in English, and they turn around and tell the person in Korean language how to do it. If you can't, nobody leaves the subway in, where's that big city in South Korea? I was there for about 2 or 3 weeks. I was staying in a hostel, and it's just full of teachers. And if you get into one of those hostels, it's just full of teachers. You don't want to stay in a 5-star hotel. You want to stay in a hostel. You know, a full-on hostel with 8-bed dormitory stuff. It don't matter how old you are, and you can slice and dice it. And then a lot of the people from Japan are taking visa runs to Korea. They have to leave the country and they come back. So you got all these guys that know about Japan because they made a visa run over to Korea. And I met some people that had taught English. I mean, one very common strategy is they go to Korea. They teach English for a year. They earn a pile of money. They save it all. And then they go traveling for a year. Then they come back to Korea and teach again. And so they're kind of like a lot of travelers do this. And I'm thinking, in a way, I'm going to slow up and I'm going to go back to the United States every 4 months and put more products up on Amazon, then take off again. Because it's really, I need to be in the United States to do it. So I'll stay home for 3 weeks and then leave. But many Americans will work 6 months and then go travel for 6 months, work 6 months and travel. Europeans do this all the time because there's like these manpower things. Manpower is, you know, they get a temporary job, boom, 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 boom. They work for a short time, then they take off traveling. Then they come back, they get another manpower job. They temporary workers, right? And this is a great way to travel. But that means that you don't have a car, you don't have an apartment, you don't buy a house, you don't get married, you don't anti-consumerism. You can't buy everything. Only requirement really to travel easy is you get rid of the car, the house, the rent, any kind of contract that's month to month, anything more than month to month. I mean, anything that ties you up for a year. And once you got that, you'll realize you're free. Okay, but you got to really compare. If you want to, you should save up enough money to live. I mean, it's real easy to live cheaper. It's difficult to earn money abroad. So, I mean, you can get a place in Thailand, easy to get a room for $10 a night with Wi-Fi, aircon, and just sit there and talk to all the people on the ground. All this stuff on the internet just really kills me. I mean, there are so many people that are experts at places they just never been and done, experts at things they never done. And I taught English. It's a horrible job. I'll never teach English again in my life. I might teach a private person that really is interested in learning, but man, when the students don't want to learn, this is a horrible thing to do because there's no sense of accomplishment, right? There is, on the outside, you can teach English over Skype to people. There's we had a thing, and I was trying to do it with this Philippine guys. A lot of Philippine people teach English. I mean, to Koreans. It's really, it's a cheap English, right? But he wanted to start a thing where he actually did it with the Japanese guy, and they were teaching English over the internet. And this would be a better way to teach English because, you know, you could actually get a teacher that speaks English. a person from Michigan or Indiana that speaks English will always be a better speaker than a Filipino that speaks, Tagalog as his first language and English as his second language. Yeah, they can teach, but they really miss the whole soul of the language. But just because you speak a language doesn't mean you really understand how to teach it. Okay, but on the in and out of this, what I really recommend anybody that wants to teach a language is pick out the place you really want to live, because you're going to have to live there. Go there and give it a taste, give it a lick. If you really like it, take a bite. Stay 1 month, 2 months, and then make a decision. You don't have to sign up before you leave. That's just a great way to sign up to take a midnight run, because when you really hate the job, you're going to have to skip out on the contract. It's literally called a midnight run. It's fun. I mean, you get into Korea and you have all these little things you learn about things. It's not. It's a job. And it's a job living in a different country. I don't want to live in Korea. I don't want to live in Japan. I like to visit Japan. I've been to Japan. I've been to Korea. I don't want to live there. I don't mind going for 2 months, but the idea of living in Japan for a year with people that I'm really difficult to talk to, I would have to learn Japanese. And I don't know, it's like a modern, Japan and Germany and America are about the same level of economics, so it's not like you're going to be rich there. I like to be in places where I'm rich, like Thailand.